Can you tell us a bit about how you first got into music? Like what sort of age you were? Like what instrument did you start on?
Sure. This is a great question. So I started playing. I'm pretty sure I started with the recorder. Um,
Didn't we all?
Yeah,
I,
everyone in primary school.
no joke. I think I was about 8. I picked up the old recorder. I mean, I say I picked it up. I'm pretty sure my mum went to a shop and bought me a recorder, and then yeah, started learning that. I think I got to. Did I get to like grade 3? But I feel like I missed the exam, maybe. Anyway, then after that, I
That's
started
quite
learning.
serious for
Yeah,
recorder
that is
playing.
very
Yeah, I was.
serious.
That's
pretty- I
serious for
was.
recorder playing.
Yeah, I was chief recorder. I mean, yeah.
That's like actually
recorder.
playing the recorder. That's not like just doing
I
it.
was
Yeah.
actually playing recorder.
That's like I play the
But this is the
recorder.
thing. So this is the thing. So then after that, I started playing the clarinet, and this was when I was like 8 or 9. I think 8 or 9 or 10, maybe 10. Played the clarinet till I was about 17. Um, and yeah, was pretty good at that.
Classical.
Got to like classical and jazz clarinet. Got to, I think, what grade did I get to? Grade 8. I did grade 7 and passed it only just, but I wasn't really practicing much by then because I wanted to learn guitar, which is the next stage. So yeah, when I was 16, actually, I started learning guitar. There was a crossover period where I learned both, but then yeah, after when I was 17, I just gained the clarinet and didn't play it, and then just got really into playing guitar and just couldn't stop playing.
Did you find it really easy because you'd played clarinet to like grade 8? Like, did you just pick it up like that?
Yeah, I did pick it up fast. Actually, the guy who taught me was like, "Yeah, you're picking this up very fast." But I think, yeah, it was definitely easier because obviously I could read music already. Although interestingly, I don't read music at all anymore. So yeah,
No, either.
yeah. Well, you don't really need it if you play guitar. You just got to remember stuff. Yeah. So I started playing guitar after clarinet. And yeah, after that, I never really looked back. But it was kind of interesting because I was learning guitar from one teacher. Then I went to university. Obviously didn't then have a teacher, but I was kind of quite a good level. I think was kind of learning stuff off YouTube, but not enough. And it was when I started writing my own songs, which were absolutely atrocious. When I was older than you, when I was 20 or 21. I think I wrote my first songs. I mean, I call them songs. I think I'd rather call them like just
demos.
They were rubbish, absolutely rubbish. And yeah, they were all the same. But kind of thing, like when you first start writing songs, you kind of write the same stuff over and over again without really realizing it. But yeah, so I just kind of, I guess, progressed, in that sense, really. It wasn't until I was 22 when I was writing anything that I would be like not embarrassed about now, even if I don't think it's that strong.
Yeah.
So some of the songs I wrote for my first album are from that period. Yeah.
Sure. Well, fast forward to where you are now for us. Sort of tell us about how things have changed, because you must have released like 30 plus songs by now, and a lot of them are doing really well on Spotify, aren't they?
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, so I have released 3 albums and an EP. But my first album and my EP were from 2019 and 2020, so quite a while ago when I was 24 and 25, whereas I've actually just turned 31. So I've been at it for a while. And I released my second album last year at the age of 30. Well, actually, I was 29. Now I'm releasing my third album on November the 10th, having just turned 31. So kind of almost album a year kind of territory.
Yeah, blimey.
I feel like I've become quite prolific at songwriting, actually, interestingly, and improved massively. Like, since being sort of 28, 29, I think I've actually seen the biggest improvement, which is interesting.
Yeah. What, as in production or writing?
I'd say, well, both, but I'd say I don't actually produce my own music. I have a producer who produces it for me, but I obviously it's all my writing and it's all my, it's 100% my writing and 100% me playing it. But I have a producer just to like make it sound great, kind of thing. But yeah, I think I definitely improved that aspect of things. Definitely improved because for my first album, the producer, I wouldn't say he was pretty good, but he wasn't as good as he didn't have as much experience as the guy who produces my music now, who has produced like some records for some quite, relatively successful artists in kind of my sort of space, I would say. But yeah, how did I get to this position in the first place? Well, I guess just continually wrote songs and put them out there I'd say since 28, I've seen the biggest improvement because I've actually been putting out songs like very regularly. Since I was, since sort of July 2023, I've been releasing music pretty consistently, kind of more or less every 8 weeks.
You hear online that you're supposed to release every 4 to 6 weeks to see some real growth, and that has kind of worked for you, hasn't it? You've seen I don't know how many Spotify streams you get on your songs now.
It's a Beautiful World, which is my most, I guess, successful song so far, which was released in June, and it's the second song on my upcoming album. Um, that has 85,000 streams so far in its first 4 months. It's slowed down a little bit, but obviously they slow down as they get a bit older. But I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens when the album comes out as well. Maybe it might, you never know, it might get another boost.
Do you think most of the listens are like instant, or it like after a couple of months it then gets bigger and then dies down again? Or...
So Spotify has had it in its Discover Weekly playlist. So that's where it like basically puts, my understanding of it is essentially it puts your music in front of people that they know are going to like it, because algorithmically they've got enough data to know who listens to your music, what audience is this, and then they go and put, if they think this is doing really well and it's getting a lot of streams and a lot of like playlist ads and a lot of saves to library from random people, when they put it in front of them, then they'll put it in front of more of those people. And so you get a bigger accelerator effect because they put it in more people's Discover Weekly. I think that's where the big surges have come from. Because if you look at your Spotify for artists, that's what it seems to say is causing the big surges I've had. But there's been a few others as well, like the Release Radar and Spotify Radio. Some of these things I don't really understand.
If you were like a young artist trying to get on those playlists, what are you doing? Are you like submitting a song before release? Is that the strategy on Spotify for artists?
Yeah, so I do that, but I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, I've had much luck from doing that. I think it's essentially just, if you release a lot of music, you're giving Spotify, I'm sure the other platforms work in a similar way, but I definitely know Spotify does this. You're giving Spotify a signal that you're, releasing more and more music. If that music starts going, really well, and lots of people start adding it to their playlist and saving it to their library, then obviously they put it in front of more and more people. And obviously there's also, besides that, there's also a lot of kind of, sorry, I forgot to answer the question actually. So in terms of how it happens, is I don't really know how it happens. You just, one day you look at your Spotify and you just see that, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are listening to it like right now, and you're like, where's this coming from? And then you see it the day after in your like stats. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I've had some big spikes from it. And I've also had a lot of like, you get kind of cool people reaching out to you saying that, oh, I love this music. But I actually found that I think to get to this position has just been a lot of grafting. Like I used to, I still do this actually. I send like messages every day on Instagram to people who are fans of similar artists, asking if they want to hear my music, because if they're a fan of this other artist, then they'll probably be a fan of my music, basically, and asking them for permission to share. I think standard stuff, standard sort of sales stuff. I used to have a job in sales, so I learned a bit of this there.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else have I been doing? I've been posting on TikTok every day as well. I don't think that's had the biggest effects, but I think, you got to do all these things, and then some of them work, some of them don't work. But it's like stuff I wall.
Right.
So, you just got to do different strategies, got to try different stuff out. But I think the real thing, the key, I think for me is, people always say that you can't predict which of your songs are going to do really well. But interestingly, with It's a Beautiful World, I really thought that would do really well the second I wrote it. So it's really interesting that has become my most kind of popular song.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, but I think I think a lot of it is also product. So the better you get, the better you get, and the more fans you start getting, the easier it gets, because the more those fans start like putting it in their Instagram stories, and you get a kind of organic spread.
That must have a spiraling effect. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And how important is it to release like consistently, like say every 4 to 6 weeks? Why is that better than releasing one really good song a year?
In terms of just for your own like fan base, that's important, because we realistically, whether we like it or not, we live in a attention economy, as in like it's a low attention economy. Like people are, there's so much noise, there's so much like things put in front of everyone. There's so much art basically. There's so much stuff that's being like put in front of these people. You have to grab them very, very quickly. And the thing is, if you say you're just releasing like 1 or 2 songs a year, it's not going to be enough, because even if they were the best songs ever, people forget. You know, the importance of releasing anything, you know, whatever you're doing, if in music as well, I'm sure this definitely applies. The importance of releasing, you know, often, like really often, is that people don't forget about you. And then that if they really like what you're doing, then they'll stick with you for, you know, and you just, if you consistently give them basically what they want, then, you know, you can keep building. But if you don't release enough music, then obviously that's obviously a lot more difficult, because you lose that momentum, I think. But yeah, I mean, I'm not the
So
world's expert.
quantity over quality, do you think?
Yeah, so I think it's completely both. The product has to be of good enough quality where, and I say good in a kind of loose sense, but a good enough quality where, say you release music quite often, this music has got to be good enough that if Spotify or whatever it is, if people hear it, they're going to spread it around to other people, and they're going to add it to their playlists and start saving it to their libraries. And then when Spotify puts it out to these people, are these people going to be, these people need to be engaging with it. So it needs to be, in terms of like in an algorithmic sense, it needs to be better than the competition. Basically, it needs to be getting more streams, sorry, not more streams, more saves, more engagement, essentially, than the things it's competing against, things in the same space, I would say.
That quantity wins is the fact that you can just spend so long obsessing over like one detail of the song, where it's actually better just to get it out there, even if you're not like 100% happy. Like I don't know, I'm never like 100% happy with the songs I do. There's always like one bit I'm like, oh, should I leave that in? But I'm just, at the end of the day, you just got to get it out. I think you said something similar when I met you, actually.
Yeah, well, no, that is it. That's so right. But yeah, I feel like I'm like pretty confident with what I'm putting out, and I feel like when I walk out of, when I'm, you know, I'm recording, I'm like, this is going to sound amazing. If anything, I'd say my problem's the opposite. I'm too confident with
Really?
it.
Yeah,
I'm too happy with it.
We've had a few people on the podcast that said that. Yeah.
I'm too happy with it. But you are right. Also, what you said there, what you picked up on there, on a serious note, is so important. So just making sure that yeah, you're one, obviously, yeah, what you said there was so important when you said that don't obsess, you know, making sure that you don't obsess over, like, say you're just putting out 1 song a year. It like what all these things that people know, that you think you notice in these things, the audience probably doesn't notice. If they like your music,
No one else does. Yeah, that's the thing.
they probably will love it anyway.
Yeah. It's the same with live, though, isn't it? When you say, "Oh, I messed up on that bit,"
oh yeah, no one knows unless you know musicians. They do those faces like that when they mess up.
Like, that's
apart
what
from that,
made it obvious. Yeah.
Apart from that, you wouldn't have noticed. So,
I was going to ask you, how important do you think it is to have Spotify streams for being big in music? Do you think it is all about streams nowadays, or
no,
other things that are just important?
I don't think it's stream. I don't think it's about streams at all. I think that the only thing with like streaming that it does show is that it shows that algorithmically, if you start getting kind of big on Spotify, you must be doing something right, because the way that you get anywhere on Spotify is essentially, in engagement terms, by having a very high engagement with people who've never heard this music before. So for that to happen, obviously you must have, for what you're doing, you must have a good product. So I think it shows that. But I think with people obsess over this stuff way too much. I think the real thing that's important is trying to make money from it, trying to live from it. And the way to do that.
Let's build on that. How much money have you made off your streams? So do you know how many streams you've got overall?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I get a monthly. It changes month by month, but I'm making peanuts from it, because obviously I don't have. I think that someone actually, I actually looked into this, and I think to make about £2,000 a month, or roughly that, you'd have to have about 600,000 streams a month. So if you think,
I saw that, yeah, it was saying like that's like minimum wage from streams is like 500, 600,000 a month.
Yeah,
just
so
absolutely crazy.
And the kind of artists that have that would be well, I was going to say, the kind of artists that have that would be artists that you've all heard of, because that's a lot of streams. I mean, that's massive. Yeah. You'd probably have heard of these kind of artists. I think last month my pay from like my distributor was about 150 quid or something, which is nothing, and that includes like Apple Music, YouTube, these kind of things
All
as
of
well.
them.
It's all aggregated, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, there's peanuts. But I think the key is to try and live off your music in other ways. And obviously, if you then get big, you make more money from the streaming platforms. But I think for me, what I've started to do and where I'm trying to take my music is into TV and film. So
Yeah.
trying to get it used in TV and film, because that's something that you could sustainably, if you got it used in quite a lot of shows and quite a lot of films, you could sustainably live off that. Is my
Yeah, a
understanding.
lot of artists don't think about that route, do they?
No, well, I
It's
think
like
it's difficult. Well, it's
not
difficult
really
because
considered option.
I mean, I think it's difficult because one, it's very hard to do. You need to have you probably need to have a sync deal, so like where companies pitch your music to
Yeah, an agent or
these
something. Or,
platforms.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually about to sign a sync deal myself, which is good. I've been
Oh, amazing.
hunting. Yeah, that's good. It's good news. I've been hunting for this.
How did you go about getting that?
Yeah, great question. So I compiled a list of music supervisors and as well as like sync agencies. So the kind of companies that pitch artists like mine music to music supervisors, essentially. Made like a board on Trello, kept track of it, and then just started reaching out to them with like emails, kind of once every other week, or about once a week or twice a week, until I'd emailed them so much. Yeah, so I've kind of been chasing those people, and one of them, well, I had a few replies. Some of them obviously weren't interested, and some of them were interested. Some of them were kind of interested, and then they just kind of died off. But yeah, one of them was like, "Yeah, this is amazing," and now we're like talking contractually, and so I think it could be really good.
Well, back to the streams, because loads of artists would want to be in your position with. I think you've got 18,000 monthly listeners, haven't you?
Yeah, I think as
On
of last
Spotify.
count, I think today about that. I think it goes up and down a bit, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's about so.
How many songs do you reckon you released to get to that point before? Because I know you said 3 albums,
Yeah.
but how many songs is that actually? How many songs should a young artist be actually thinking of releasing to get to that point?
So I started releasing music like without fail at least every 8 weeks. When did I start doing that? And because that's when it really started like accelerating. I'm going to say about the beginning of 2024. So kind of 21 months ago, nearly 2 years
Only
ago.
recently, really, then. Yeah.
Yeah, fairly recently. Yeah. So I'd say was it even that soon? I think it might have been a bit later than the beginning of 2024. No, it was a bit later actually. It was around May 2024. I've actually just worked it out. It was May 2024. I started releasing music about every 6 to 8 weeks.
Every 8
And
weeks.
since then, yeah, roughly 6 or 7 or 8 weeks, that kind of thing. And since then, yeah, I've like gone up a lot, kind of thing. And found there's been like a big boost. But yeah, I mean, so that's how many songs is that? It's probably about 12 songs since then that like,
Okay.
yeah, so it's decent.
I mean,
rap.
that's a lot of releases for basically a year.
Oh, it is.
All right, I've got 2 more things I want to ask you about just before we start wrapping up. So we talked about sync. What do you think about AI and music and that particular industry?
How long have we got here? This is going to be mad. So I have some really.
We'll give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay, cool. So I think that the genie's out of the bottle, and sadly, if you look at people making music using AI, which obviously I would never do, and I think is so dystopian and so horrible, I think that if I worry that the future of music might be that people type into any large language model, can you go and create me in 10 songs, a cover art, a bio, and all this stuff that looks real, that sounds a bit like Mungo. That sounds like a combination of Mungo Parker, Nick Drake, Ben Howard, and Paul Simon. Let's just say that for sake of argument. And this because this technology already exists, and the AI prompts.
Yeah, it does. I mean, AI generated songs already on Spotify.
Yeah, I know exactly, like Sadie Winters and all this sort of stuff, where people couldn't even tell it was real. Sorry, couldn't even tell it was fake, or made by AI. And I think unless there are massive changes made and strong governance and strong regulation comes in, I worry that musicians may end up being like obsolete. And what sort of world would that be? Like, it'd be horrible. And obviously, there'd still be a place for like people playing live, but if we get to the stage where AI can write better than any human, which I'm quite certain that we will get to very quickly if we're not already there.
Oh yeah, if you combine Bob Dylan with like Paul
Well,
McCartney,
exactly.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
we
gonna
may,
be an
well,
amazing
yeah,
song.
yeah. I mean, we may already be there. I don't know. I'm not the world's expert, but from what I've seen, it's pretty dystopian and pretty scary already. And I think the saddest thing about something like that is that, you know, if you end up with the scenario that someone and people might look at artists like me in the future and be like, did they really write all that music, or did they use a large language model to generate them this music? And the only proof will be that you've played, there's some footage of you actually playing this on guitar, and maybe writing experts could piece it together. But how long is it until AI can be used for deep fakes? This is when it gets really dystopian. Deep faking. Yeah, the AI. Well, this is mad. The AI, you know, playing guitar itself and looking like a human, even though it's not a human and it's just AI. And how long is it until we get to that point? And I think, yeah, it's scary, it's dystopian, and we definitely don't want a world where artists, well, not even artists, where people are using AI to you know, just basically cheat and not even playing instruments. I mean, that's a sad world for me. But yeah, I do worry.
All right, final thing we'd like to ask you about your upcoming album. So just give us a bit of a rundown. What's the style? When can we expect it?
Yeah, so good question. So the album is called Slow Down the Years. So yeah, Mungo Parker, Slow Down the Years. And yeah, it's an album I wrote. I've written all of the songs over the course of the first one I wrote in May of last year, not the opening track, but the first song that I wrote for the album, which is called Second Life, which is out already. But and the all of the songs on it I wrote between May 2024 and when did I finish writing it? May 2024 and July 2025. The last thing I wrote for it, I wrote in July, which is the reprise of It's a Beautiful World. So there's actually a reprise. So it kind of starts with like an intro into It's a Beautiful World, and it actually ends. So I've kind of borrowed some structure. I really like how Pink Floyd, you know, if you look at like Wish You Were Here and Dark Side of the Moon, I think they're two of the best albums ever. Yeah, I think what's so cool about them is they're bookended. So, you know, it kind of starts somewhere near to where it finishes, and it takes you on a crazy journey, but then it kind of is cyclical to some extent. It kind of comes back down to where it was. So yeah, it starts with intro into It's a Beautiful World, but it ends on a reprise of It's a Beautiful World, which I think is a really nice like progression, and this sounds really cool. I think it's definitely the best thing. It's definitely a much stronger album, I think, than my previous two. And yeah, I've got high hopes for it. I think it's going to be really good. I think the reason why the songs
Going to get 200,000 streams.
I don't think on any of the album tracks, but I think the reason why one of the reasons why like my music's picked up so much in the last, you know, like year basically, I think, or even 6 months, I think is because the songs from this album are really, really, really strong, I think. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what this album can do. And I've actually got some more music to come after the album, just because I've been writing loads and loads and loads. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where this could all take me. So
Well,
yeah.
amazing. Where can people find you on social media and stuff and find out more about this?
Well, the great thing about having a name like Mungo Parker is there's only one Mungo Parker on all of social media. I just made that up, but I'm pretty sure. I'm guessing, but I'm pretty sure.
We'll fact check you.
Yeah, fact check that. Get AI to fact check. Or just don't even get AI to do it. You don't need that. You can
I can use our own brains to do
it. Quick search.
Use my own brain.
But yeah, it's a pretty crazy name. So Mungo Parker obviously is my name, and that's my stage name. So yeah, it's very easy to find me. Yeah, at Mungo Parker for Instagram, Mungo Parker on Spotify. I've literally just got Mungo Parker in all my. It's great. This is a great advantage of having such a strange name. So yeah, it's very useful. But
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for talking to us today. It's been really interesting.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really been a pleasure.